First of all, thank you very much for staying until really last session. Really appreciated that. Bit of myself, I started my career at one of the Japanese banks based in Singapore, doing structured finance. As Sekiguchi-san previously indicated, structured finance could be used to finance power plants as well. And also I was at the fund manager at one of the insurance companies to invest into real assets like airports, seaports, highways, and power plants as well. And also I'm working for venture capital. Yesterday, Dr. Leslie said, venture capital needs to consider the investment much longer time horizon. I believe so too. So with this background, I hope I can sort of contribute to the discussion today. So in the next 11 minutes, what we want to try to do is to, I see like we had lots about data centers, but our topic is powering data center and AI. So let us touch on the data center demand a bit. And then we want to talk about how the institutional investors are looking at data center and nuclear energy. And then hopefully at the end, we will come up with some of the suggestions to promote a dialogue among us. So to do that, today we are very honored to have Mr. Ito here. Ito-san, please introduce yourself, please.
Thank you, Jun, for introduction. Hi, my name is Yukihiko Ito. I'm a founder of the company called GOYOH. I'm from real estate sector. So today I will speak something from the aspect of the real estate investment and institutional investors. I think this session is very casual, so please lose your time. I did already. Yeah, that's very easy. So let me explain myself. I explain my name. So what I'm doing is I'm providing ESG solution platform for the building owners. The building owner I'm talking about is an institutional investor. So our customers, investors like AXA investment managers, the insurance companies, and Goldman Sachs, financial institutions, and some of the other international insurance companies. So those companies, investors, have longer time duration for their investment. So sometimes they invest money for 20 years, and some public pension spend money for 30 years because their beneficiary will need money paid back after 30 years. So usually they can spend longer time than usual. And ESG is very, very important for them to maintain their asset value in the long time horizon. Because in that 30 years, you may have a risk that your building is stranded. It means become non-investable grade for institutional investors. That's super large risk, so they pay big attention for ESGs. And they pay cost for ESGs, even they don't get any financial return so far. So that is what I'm doing. I'm providing the software solutions to them. And I'm also a member of the CRREM. CRREM is Climate Risk Real Estate Monitor. It is a global initiative organized by large public pension fund, GPIF, and Norwegian Central Bank, and Dutch pension fund, and Idaho Cambridge, the Canadian pension fund's real estate arm. So they make a global initiative for net zero in the real asset because they have strong commitment and responsibility. And that is a global initiative. So I'm part of the committee member. I'm involved in the rulemaking in that sector. So today we talk about data center, and we will talk about why this initiative is quite important for data center. Shall we go
Yes.
right?
So if you can touch a bit on data center demand.
Okay. Oh, so sorry. This is our service. Please explain very, very briefly. So we provide software to analyze ESG, so environmental and social performance of the building, hotel, office, residentials, data centers, airport. We analyze and optimize how to reduce the negative impact. And we also using AI for our system. So this is one of the products we are using AI. We use AI to analyze the asset performance and compare with the other buildings globally. So if we have data center, we analyze the data center and compare with other data center in other cities. And we advise way to improve the performance environmentally. And this service is also useful for the due diligence when you invest asset, when you sell the asset. Okay, so now we are on the data center. So we summarize, just summarize something about data center. And I use ChatGPT to summarize the AI and data center. So we found very interesting numbers. So average market growth of data center is over 10% year globally, APAC, Europe, US. And we talk about a lot AI. So we think AI is a big driver to increase data center. But in fact, the electricity usage by AI in data center is 10%. So we have to see what is a real driver for the data center. And here's some growth driver. I think in other session, people mentioned those things a lot. So here, what I want to emphasize is, from real estate investor perspective, green data center is very, very important trend. If it is not green, you will get your asset stranded. And energy sources, so far, they are using traditional power grid, renewable energies. That wouldn't be enough at all very soon, I believe, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Shall we go next slide?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so this is a table for the major investment into Japanese data center in past 2 years and coming years. So there are many players, but please look at that. So Air Trunk is, I don't know if my explanation is right, but I think Air Trunk is owned by Blackstone, the investment company. And Colt is a subsidiary of the Fidelity, the insurance companies. And ESR is fund managers. GLP, they are also fund managers. So those people are managing money on behalf of institutional investors into data center. And very right hand side is the potential IT load from those development. So GLP itself, they are going to develop data centers which will need 900 megawatts. So if my understanding is right, that is almost equivalent to one nuclear power plant capacities. That is correct, right? And this is a trend of investment in data center in Japan. So I think roughly $3 billion investment is in data center per year in Japan. And I think this is about 10% of Asian investment volume in data center in Japan. And here forecast of the market size of data center and energy consumption by data center. So in next, from 2023 to 2029, the size will be more than double in most of the major areas. And they will need over, how much? 65 gigawatt electricity all over the world just for data center. Please feel free to come in and ask me anything. Okay, yeah. Okay. So from here, please let me explain how real estate investor, the asset owner of data center, how they are thinking on the data center and its energy high consumption. So the CRREM is carbon risk real estate monitor. So concept of this initiative is show you pathway for the net zero. So that the graph, you see the green line is pathway, the CRREM set for each asset, for residential or data center. They have different line, but toward to 2050, that will go to zero carbon and zero electricity, zero carbon, ideally. But if you see the present level of your asset performance, CO2 emission, for example, it will be over green line in 2027, for example. Okay, that instance, your asset will be stranded. That means non-investable grade asset. So bank will not give you finance. And if you want to trade your asset on the market, maybe 20% discount price will be offered by buyer. So people, the investor, consistently upgrade capex, the opex, and change source of energies toward 2050. But that's very, very hard work. Even we are in 2025, many of the investors are struggling to reduce the CO2 emissions to maintain their position below the green line. But this is very, very essential guideline rule in this industry. And you can see those guys, the Norwegian Central Bank, the GPIF, and Ivanhoe Cambridge, they founded this initiative and they're supporting very much. And that means everyone has to follow this rule now. So that is where we are in the real asset sector. And data center owner need to think about this as well to get the stable finance and equity from the investor side.
Yes, and also because of the time, I think, can you share your observation on how the institutional investor are looking at nuclear energy?
All right. I think it's very depending on the government policies and state policy even in one country. So, but we have many European investors as customer. Talking about nuclear power energy, many French companies are very, very positive. They recommend clean energy and the nuclear power plant as the most recommended energy source for their investment. But on the other hand, we have to think of the EU taxonomy. So when you look at EU taxonomy, they have some concern for the nuclear waste. So that's I think last hurdle for institutional investors. And maybe the people in the nuclear industry can support them to explain more clearly and more reasonably that is not the issue. And maybe you have better solutions. So I think today's session, we'd like to talk about the potential for the collaboration by cross sectors.
Yeah, actually, on waste disposal, we talked about 90% could be recycled, reused. And then another 5% could be also used for MOX or platinum. So I think we are going back to this global idea that we really need some kind of education to the investors as well. So what do you think of the problem or the current issue for the institutional investor at the moment?
I think they need to address the right knowledge and the right people who can explain rationally to them. So yesterday we had a cocktail this event, and I had a table with Fujita-san, and she explained me that the very innovative way of reducing nuclear waste. I really didn't know that, and was very, very impressed. So I think everyone in my industry has to know that. Mm-hmm. But Jim, I forgot to go slide about data center. Please. Okay, so let's.
I think we can skip to the suggestion now because it's the time. I think.
Okay. Do you have maybe 5 or 10 minutes more?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so let me add something more about data center. So I talk about CRREM pathway. So they have a net zero pathway for each asset. So this is a energy use intensity per square meter per year by building type. So warehouse, it consumes low energy use intensity, like 150 kilowatt hour per square meter per year. And residential, low. And office building consume higher, maybe 300 at max. And hotel, like here, consume the most, maybe 500 kilowatt hour per square meter per year. Because the hotel uses a lot of light and energies and many people. This is a world before data center. So I will show you the world after data center. Okay, so this is a world after data center. Okay. Energy use intensity of data center is amazing. Okay, so if you compare hotel and high density data center, the energy use intensity is more than 100 times. So 2 digits different. So now, asset owner investors have to deal with this unusual increase of CO2 emissions from the asset. So we think there is a key for both industry, real estate and nuclear industry, to discuss and find good solution for both of them. Okay. And yeah, so we think we can, so based on the topics I explained, maybe we can talk about what nuclear energy can be for data center. So I think they want to say the nature of 24 hours, 7 days supply is very important for data center. So, but they need to lower the carbon emissions. So I think one thing we can add here, maybe SMR, the feature. Maybe it can change the real estate value, I think. And challenge and consideration. So regulatory hurdles, public perception, that is each topics we cannot change. I cannot change a lot, but the first one, high initial cost. Maybe we can find better way. So Jun is involved in the startup and venture capital investment side. So he knows very nice the startups who can reduce the cost for the nuclear energy usage. And okay, and so this is a table to explain the policy and nuclear power by country, but I think everyone here knows well, so I skip. So, and last slide. Is the last slide?
No, I think it's just.
Yep. Okay. Okay. So this is our today's suggestion. We think to create opportunity to discuss between nuclear industries and the real estate sectors, institutional investors. Maybe you can find more opportunity to cultivate the market. And when I started my business in the real estate sector, ESG was just costly topic and everyone didn't want to hear what I'm talking about very much. So I talked to top guys, institutional investors. They wanted to do ESG, and they committed on me. So other people in the supply chain, in the investment universe, followed institutional investors. So my business model, it worked well. So I think if you talk to the institutional investors and decision makers, we can find other opportunities and more support. So Jun is a very powerful guy and have very great network. So thanks for that. I was very glad to be here for these opportunities. but I think we can play a nice role to liaise everyone in the industry. So this is our suggestion. Yeah, let's make something from small step. So perhaps professional working group by nuclear people and financial people. Yeah.
Yes, so thank you. So we will try to make and come up with a working group to promote a dialogue between nuclear industries and institutional investors. So thank you very much for your patience and support. Thank you very much.
Thank you.